mystery, and my name is Sarah Altair, and this is where we talk about making a good mystery great. And today I want to talk about how to balance character and plot in your mystery novel. It's an art. But first, I want to thank all of my patrons who help keep this video series going and support my writing. So encourage you, if you like this series, to give a thought to supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Okay, so character, plot. It's like your detective and the puzzle. So most writers think of mystery novels as plot-driven stories where the focus is on a set of choices the character must make, and in the case of a mystery, that is the detective solving the puzzle. And your detective has to make choices among the array of clues and suspects to arrive at the puzzle's solution, the villain. But ask a devoted mystery reader to name their favorite mystery, and you'll most likely hear the name of the detective. From Emile Hone to Vera Stanhope to McGray to Bosch. They may or may not remember the name of the mystery. They may or may not remember the first or last name of that character, just depending on which story it is. But they remember the detective, and that's a character. Of course, the puzzle was there for each of those sleuths to solve, but what made the story memorable was the character. So somehow, driving your mystery puzzle, you want a memorable sleuth, and underneath that puzzle is the way your protagonist sleuth deals with inner conflicts and relationships with other characters in your story. So it's a big job in a mystery. So first of all, you need to know your sleuth and all of the supporting characters in your story, because your sleuth leads the reader through the mystery puzzle. Your sleuth is like a guide that poses questions about clues and suspects that your reader follows along. So you want to give depth to your sleuth and those characters, providing them with strengths and weaknesses, and put those strengths and weaknesses at odds with the other characters. And it's how you create engagement. It's how you create tension in your story. And another thing is to avoid making your sleuth all good. Okay, they're smart, they know how to be a detective. Doesn't matter if they're professional or an amateur. They're going to have some abilities that allow them to figure out the solution to the puzzle. But a one-dimensional character doesn't garner reader engagement. Readers care about characters who feel human. They have strengths, yes, but they also have flaws, and they have weaknesses, and they make mistakes, and that emotional punch keeps your reader wondering how that character is going to rescue himself, and you're adding emotional tension to the story. So weaknesses and frailties make your protagonist feel human. He may be a good guy, but give him faulty motivations. Maybe she really is a bitch when she loses her temper. And your readers will engage with a story whose character struggles with their weaknesses. Those characters feel human. Your sleuth must fail. She doesn't always get it right. He makes bad calls that create worse situations. So give your character some wrong ideas. And a sleuth that always gets it right doesn't challenge your reader. Readers read mysteries because they want to be challenged. So challenge them. And as your sleuth interacts with other characters, you have multiple opportunities to display their strengths and their weaknesses and their personal opinions. So go for it. Your goal is to make your sleuth come alive so readers care. When they care, they keep reading. But meanwhile, you have to create a puzzle, because that's why mystery readers are there, right? Creating that mystery puzzle is the structure of your story, the plot. So you create the overall tension in your mystery by creating a setup, a discovery journey, and the final payoff of revealing the sleuth. And you go from the initial crime through the clues and discovering the victim's world and introducing all the suspects and finally honing in on the villain, and at the end, that final reveal. So the story framework, the plot, leads your detective and the reader on a discovery journey. Along the way, your detective makes choices about what clues are important, evaluates which suspects to interview and what those suspects say, and as the story progresses, the detective eliminates suspects and gets closer to the villain. Along the way, your detective makes wrong choices, which leads to reversals, rethinking, and further discovery actions. And behind the scene, the villain works as hard as they can to keep the detective from discovering who they are, from discovering the truth. So depending on your detective's skills, he finally discovers, confronts, and reveals the villain. So there's an expected story structure, the plot, in a mystery that mystery readers want. They expect that. If you deviate too much, they're going to feel like it wasn't a rewarding mystery. They want all that mystery. They want the puzzle. They want the pieces that fit and the pieces that don't fit. And they want to follow your detective along the way. So the best way that I recommend for combining the story structure and the character, which engages your mystery reader, is before you write, do some planning. I know I've said this before and I'll say it consistently. It really helps you write faster and it helps you write a better mystery. So plan your overall story structure and develop your character backgrounds for each of your characters before you really start writing. And as you write, the story structure tells you where you're going and what you're going to do next. And you know what's going to happen next, so you can focus on bringing each scene to life. And knowing each character allows you to use details you need to enliven each scene. And because you've done the background work for the supporting characters, you know how their personal traits can help or hinder your detective on their search for the truth. To create a balance in your mystery, create character-driven scenes, scene by scene, as they fit inside your plot structure. So I'm going to say that again because I think it's the trick to maintaining that balance between plot and structure. You know the structure, so you know the scene's place in the story. But within each scene, you want it to be character-driven. You want the characters to engage, to conflict, to make mistakes, to have emotional changes. So to create that balance in your mystery, create character-driven scenes, scene by scene, as they fit inside your story structure. That's the secret of creating and maintaining that balance. When you work on both the story structure and the characters, you write a mystery that satisfies mystery tropes while engaging your readers with three-dimensional characters. I hope that all makes sense. And it's kind of the way I think about it is you have the big story structure, so you know how each scene fits in the story structure. But once you start writing the scenes, you can really engage in the emotional involvement among the characters that keeps your reader engaged with what's happening now, each scene, so they want to turn the pages to figure out what's going to happen next. So all of that beforehand planning makes a huge difference in your mystery because you've got to keep that balance. Writing a mystery challenges new writers because there's a lot to do. Unlike an action thriller where it's mostly action and choices and action and more action, or unlike a very character-driven novel, which is all about the characters' inner conflicts and how they deal with them. You're going to have some of each in your mystery, and that's what makes it an engaging story. So if you're new to mystery writing, or you love mysteries and have thought about writing a mystery and don't know quite how to go about it, I encourage you to check out my course, Write a Killer Mystery, and it walks you through from your story idea all the way through character development and creating your story structure and putting it all together as you write scene by scene. Write a Killer Mystery. The link is in the description below. All right, thank you so much. Keep writing. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Write a Killer Mystery goes live on YouTube. Thank you.